I never knew it until I saw it. And I was like, yo, you super emotional. That's sweet on you. That's sweet on YouTube. That's sweet when you're talking to 10,000 people. But when you one-on-one with your girl, that's too much energy. And you got to pull it back. So when I took the test, I saw my girl in 99D, which means when you start coming at her like that, I had one thing I couldn't overcome, but when I got the test, I saw what I was doing wrong. Listen to me very closely. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because of the economy. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because of racism. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because it ain't the season. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because they don't love you. You keep saying you ain't on the next level because the opportunity ain't there. The truth of the matter is that you ain't there because you ain't there. I could have fixed this years ago, but I didn't know it was a problem. But that's why it's important to do professional development. I spent money to get this after I got my PhD. Because I wanted to get better because it wasn't working. And although we might not have argued, it might have been like once every 3 months. But let me tell you something. When you don't argue for 3 months, that day you do argue, it negates everything. It tears everything up. And I was tripping because I was like, it ain't fair for you to tell me not to be emotional just because you ain't emotional. But it was like, Eric, it doesn't matter. Do you want this marriage to work or not? And there's some of you, you know what you want. You know what you want. But you are not personally willing to do the work it takes to get it. What you're trying to do is do what you've done on this level and get the next level. You're trying to do exactly what you're doing on this level. You're like, I'm getting up every day. I'm putting in 2.5. I'm putting in 3, and I'm not getting the opportunity. The opportunity might require 3.5. I'm lifting weights. I'm eating right, and I'm not getting the opportunity. It might require getting up and working out 3.5. It might require you saying no to your friends. It might require you changing your diet. It might require you moving to another city. Whatever it takes, you got to be willing to do it, and you keep saying you're not there because of something else because it's easier to blame somebody else. Because now you don't got to do no work when you blame somebody else. Guess who got to do the work? They got to do the work. But guess who got the power? They got the power. How many of y'all tired of other people having the power? Let me see your hand. You want the power. I'm just being real, hands down. Hands down. Think about what I just said. How many of you want the power? Let me see your hands. Good. Write down next to your crazy idea some of the things that you know you're doing wrong that's messing up what you're doing. Come on, I want y'all to take my time. I want y'all to get this. So with this DISC assessment, I saw how my daughter's a high C, and when you look at a high C, it's like they're very methodical, cautious. You see that, y'all? Careful. And I would get up and imagine me taking my 99I and putting her on her 99C. It was a disaster. I used to think my daughter didn't like me because she would be in her what? Just imagine if you like a C, that's like, you know, you reserved. She would come home and go where? To her room. And I would think that she didn't like me. Because my son would come home and do what? Because he got a nice lot of eye in it. He'd come home and do what? Be in my face. What up? Blood. Dad, you can't believe what happened at school today. It was out of control, Dad. In practice, I got 2 fumble returns. You couldn't see it. And my daughter come in, hi, Dad, go straight to her room. I'm like, yo, what's up? Took this test and realized, it's not that my daughter, because I'd be like, you want to go on a trip? She like always say no. And I'm like, why she don't ever want to go nowhere with us? And I didn't realize she don't want to go nowhere with us because she want to do her schoolwork because she in school. My son in school, I'm like, yo, son, I just got a gig with the Pacers. You want to roll? He like, let's go. He ain't said nothing about I got class. My man like, when we leaving? I'm like, actually, we got to leave later on tonight. He like, my stuff already packed. I knew you was going to call about a trip like that. I could just feel it in my spirit. Let's roll. My daughter like, I can't do it. I got tests. I say, your test is in 2 weeks. I got to study for my test. The test is in 2 weeks, but the studying is today. I was like, I didn't even know it worked like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never even put that together. Like, I just be ready on test day. She's like, no, you actually have to study to know what to do on the test day. But guess what? When I start saying to my daughter, 48 hours in advance, a week in advance, we going on a trip, guess what she starts saying? Yo, I can roll. Because I gave her enough time to do what? Plan. So it wasn't nothing personal. I was treating her like she was an I when she was a C. Does that make sense? Look, you got some changing to do. If I don't get to no other slide, you got some changing to do. And I'm telling you, the reason why I'm leaving corporate and going to schools, because it's easier to help a doggone middle school kid change than a grown man. It's hard changing grown men. I'm talking about hard. I'm like, yo, my ratio gonna go up. I'm gonna be a legend if I go to middle school. I'm gonna be a legend. Like Eric came in, talked to 100 kids, 98 got changed. He's a legend. My average gonna go up. Dealing with grown men, I talk to 10 grown men, they listen to me very closely. A lot of times when I counsel grown men, first and foremost, they don't want counseling. They want me because I'm anointed to co-sign what they doing. That's it. They like, E.T. got a relationship with God. If E.T. says it's cool, then it's cool. And I refuse to do it. Like, look, people call me, E, can you marry me? How can I marry you when you already married? You calling me to marry you, you already made a decision. I can't marry if you made a decision. I need to counsel you first to see if y'all even need to be married. What if I say no? I don't think God told me y'all ain't compatible. But here's what they do, because they slick. They know I like to counsel. So they call like, E, we want to get counseling so you can marry us. How will I know if I need to marry you until I counsel you? Oh no, you can counsel us, but we're going to get married in a year. I can't do that. I have to counsel you first and then tell you, but what you want me to do is you want me to co-sign a decision you've already made without even praying about it. That's what grown people do. You already made up in your mind. You done brought I want married counseling. I come to you and your wife, hey, E, do me a favor. What you telling me to do is say, I'm paying you, tell her she's wrong and I'm right. Just go in there for me real quick and tell her my side. I need you to help her to see how I see. She's not getting it. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna need some time. You might not even see right. You got me co-signing some foolishness. Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'd rather do elementary kids than grown men. Elementary kids, they've been broke, but they ain't broke yet. Grown people broke. It's easier to help somebody who is broken at a young age than a 50-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 30-year-old. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you to do, since you hate being told what to do, you're going to have to fix yourself since you don't like nobody else telling you what to do. And because you're not willing to pay for a coach, you're going to have to coach yourself. Does that make sense? So I want you to write down honestly. Write it down real quick. Write it down. Let's go to the next slide. Honestly, write it down. I want you to write it down for me real quick. Write down, what are you doing right now that you know that's killing the game? Write it down. I'm going to be honest with y'all. There was a time when I used the race card. Anybody in here ever used a race card before? Let me see your hand. You for real, you used the race card. For real. And is it real? Oh, it's real. But is it real? No. Because when you use the race card, who has the power? Good. We don't even know who got the power. Good. Can I get some water? All right, watch this. Real quick, watch this. So we just bought a building, y'all. This is crazy. We just bought a building, right? And what I didn't know, because I'm new to the game, when you buy a building, you buy it in the neighborhood, and although you own it, you don't what? You don't own it all the way. Who makes the decisions? The city. So we done bought this building. I'm about to try to turn it into church. The city didn't say nothing to me about what I could and couldn't do till after I bought it. Then when I bought it, they like, we don't even know if we're going to give you a permit to do what you're trying to do. When I tell y'all we went to a meeting, and we in the backwoods of Michigan. We go to the city council meeting. We all African American. It's Caucasian. We get in there, I promise you. My church every month, guess what they doing? They crying because things didn't work out. They crying is what? It's race. We black. They don't want us out here. All right, and I was like, well, that's good, but we bought the building, so we're going to have to figure this out. I'm just saying, if that's the truth, that they don't want us out here, then we stuck. Right? So I was like, y'all, we can't keep playing the race card. We got to find out what's going on. So we had one of the dudes from the city come up to the building, and my man, thank you. My man went off on my contractor from the church. He went off. My contractor called me like, yo, bro, you better get up here real quick because we ain't never gonna be able to get a church. I'm about to knock my man out. I don't know who my man think he is. Right? So I get up there, right? And I see him, an old white dude. Like he might have been back like when it was like colored water fountains. He might have been back then. He was on it, right? But I told my boy, I was like, yo, we can't go there. And I sat down and I did my homework and I went and I studied. Keep going for me. I studied. Oh, don't worry about that. I went to one with the 1% with the poverty board. I went and I studied, y'all. I studied my hookup, right? And what I found out was, it is because they're white, but it has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with preference. I want to go slow. I want to make sure you hear what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with color, meaning that they're white, but it has something to do with the fact that they're the city and they do ordinances. So when you're in the city and you do ordinances, you wouldn't be a D and I, a S, you would be a C, right? And I realized what we did wrong. My boy's a high I. So he came in there talking about how he was going to do the building, but he never had what? He never had papers. He never had a blueprint. So we called an engineer, and the engineer came in, and I know why my boy didn't do it. Because he didn't want to spend the what? He didn't want to spend the money. So now, I didn't even know because I wasn't going to the meetings. We in the meetings talking to a group of people who ain't geeked about talking. They want to see what? Paperwork. So yes, they're prejudiced, but not prejudiced on race. They're prejudiced on procedures. So you in there talking about what you're going to do. They want the paper. I said, bruh, let's go pay somebody. We paid somebody and got the stuff. And in less than 2 weeks, we had our doggone permits. But we could never get it fixed because we kept saying it was. Now we on the phone telling people, I'm talking about people calling now. Oh, girl, you ain't going to believe it. We just left the meeting. Racism. They done spread the whole thing through the whole church on some racism stuff. It ain't even racism. It's structure. Anybody got time in no city council meeting to be talking about your plans? They want to see your plans. And then they are a little nervous. Because there's been no black establishment in that city ever. We the first ones. They might have scrolled through BET and saw some stuff on BET and was like, they about to bring BET up out of this joint. I ain't mad at them. They like, well, we don't know what's coming out here. I'm just being real, because listen to me very closely. Once they give you the permit and they co-sign, at that point, you can do whatever you want to do. And they're, what do you call them? Adult facilities right between our church. So they thinking they come in here with all that. Come on. They come here with all that stuff. They gonna disrupt the who? The older people in the community. The culture. They gonna disrupt the culture. We got the blueprints, got the building finished. A couple of them came in the building, they knew what it was before, and they looking like, whoa, this joint is fire. But they would have known that off the cuff if we would have came in with there's something that is blocking your next level, and it's you, and you want to keep saying it's somebody else. It's this company I work for. They ain't showing me no love. They ain't showing you no love because you ain't doing something to make them show you love. They see how all over the place you are, and they're going to take advantage of it. They see you ain't got no structure. You ain't got no 5-year plan, 10-year plan. You ain't got your stuff together. They see it. So over here, real quick. Somebody be honest over here about why you can't get to that next level. What's that thing? Say it again. Good. And when you say mindset, what do you mean? Good. Yep. You come from poverty, so you're dealing with wealth as poverty. You dealing with wealthy people talking poverty language. Yep, it's not going to work. Somebody over here. Yep. Procrastination. Good. How many of y'all being killed by procrastination? Let me see your hand. Yep. She's a man eater. Whoa, here she come. I'm talking about procrastination is killing America. It's killing it. If you could fix procrastination, what would your life be like? You understand what I'm saying? People like E.T., I want to do what you do. No, you don't. I'm my own boss. When I worked at Michigan State, I had to be to work at 9 o'clock. When I work for myself, I get up at 3. When I worked at Michigan State, I get to leave at 5. When you work for yourself, you don't have no time when you get off. You don't get off. You stop when the work is done.